Hey guys, welcome to the Ace of Plays channel and to another mill video. You guys seem to really enjoy yesterday's video, and to be honest, I enjoyed making it. I enjoyed trying out mill. And I've got 5 games for you today. That's got to be a new Ace of Plays record. 5 games in a video. Of course, they're sped up just a little bit so we can fit it in under 40 minutes. But to be fair, like these 5 games, they only took 45 minutes, like normal speed. But yeah, we were playing more mill. I made a few modifications to the deck, just switching out a couple of the bronzes. It doesn't change how the deck works at all. It's just I wasn't quite happy with the bronzes that were in the version I played yesterday, so we messed around with those a little bit. But I want to ask you guys a question. Or I guess it's like several questions, but they're all pooled together into one question. Do you hate Calvate Hyperthin? Do you hate Usurper Hyperthin? Do you hate Dijkstra Townsfolk combo? Do you hate Ardal Hyperthin? Or do you hate Voltest? Well, no matter how many of those go for you, watch this video. Because, I mean, I just wanted to sit down and try out mill a little bit, maybe get a couple of good games to show you guys, but holy shiz. I got more than a couple of good games. Yeah. Anyway, like, yesterday I did my talking about mill, and today I think I'm going to focus a little bit more on commentating the gameplay. But first, I just want to say thank you so much for the response to yesterday's video. It was great. I was surprised to see how many people really enjoy mill and think that it's a good archetype, that it's a cool control deck. Even people saying that it's shitty to play against, but it's fun to watch. It's fun to play yourself. So I was surprised because, like, you know, I'm an open beta player, and back then mill was like the cancer. But now it seems people are warming up to it, and you know what? I am too. Especially in like the current meta with all these hyper thin, super efficient decks and like strong combo decks that are very consistent, like, you know, DJ. It's good to have something that counters that, you know. It feels good. So I just want to say that, like, I have definitely warmed up to mill after yesterday's video, and maybe a lot of you have too, and you're back for more. And why don't we enjoy this together? And like I said, I will try to commentate a little bit more on the gameplay today. I did my discussion about mill yesterday. You know, talked about, you know, whatever there is to talk about. So today I want to talk a little bit more about the deck in general, how it works. I mean, of course, you mill. And the ultimate goal for me, without going into too unrealistic expectations, is to mill the opponent's entire deck by the end of round 2 to deny them all round 3 draws. A lot of the time they had 1 card left, but then like they draw 1 card, you draw 3, they can't mulligan, but you can. So that's still really, really good. Now the thing about mill, you don't put out a lot of power, okay? And by the way, end of round 1 they have 4 cards left. That's why Hyperthin is theoretically a very good matchup for us. But yeah, we don't put a lot of power out. And in most games, if not all of the games that I played today with mill, I spend round 1 going down like 3 cards to be able to catch up while still milling. And like the thing is, like, if you can mill them successfully, you get to draw 3 more cards than them in round 3. So if you go 3 cards down, you go into round 3 on even cards. So like, kind of, it's like a really cool dynamic with this mill deck is that yes, you have to go down like 3 cards to win round 1, but because you're milling them, it's worth it because you get those 3 cards back. So that's a really cool way to play with card advantage. And I mean, it's just something that I have to admit I really love about mill right now. It's like defying those norms, like those rules about, you know, not going down too many cards. But I mean, you go down you easily go down 3 cards. Like, you'll gladly do it when you're playing mill. Because, like if you mill them correctly, I mean, they don't have to have a lot of thinning in the deck. I mean, theoretically, if we get all our mill cards, we are able to mill, by the end of round 2, we're able to mill a full deck without any thinning. Because they will have drawn 13 cards, and we can definitely mill 12 cards. I think, like, the deck, like, if all of our cards that can mill get to mill, I think we can mill like 13 cards or so. But yeah, and of course, like the real kicker is like the cards themselves that you mill. Like, if you steal their finisher, you know, you banish their combo piece, like, that goes a long way. And like, if you take away all of their good cards, then like, you don't mind, like, you know, maybe you don't get to mill them fully. Maybe your hand in round 3 is kind of trash. But so is theirs, because you took all of their good cards. So that's really good. Now, this first match, I mean, it's Calvi, right? Like, his ability is literally completely dead, because he has no cards to look at. He had a dead marching orders. And I mean, we were in even cards. Like, I got back up to even cards, and then now I have some actually really good cards in my deck, or in my hand rather. Like, Vilgeforce is just free removal of anything he puts out. So like, his biggest thing, we just burn it. This Ihuaraquax, I haven't been paying attention fully, but I believe it will pull me Damien de la Tour. That's usually what Ihuaraquax will get you, which will, you know, let us replay Vilgefortz. I made a mistake a couple of times during these games where I forgot that Emir can only pick up Nilfgaardian units. So I had like this brilliant idea of, oh, I'm gonna replay Ihuaraquax. Don't do that. You can't. I mean, you can't do that. So, Usurper, huh? So he shuts down our ability, which, you know, isn't worth that many points in this deck. It's an extra mill. An extra mill that we always have on demand, which is actually, it's a really strong ability. Like, in a dedicated mill deck, your leader giving you like 2 points, potentially more if you're picking up a damaged unit, and, you know, giving you an extra mill is actually really strong. But this turns out to be hyper thin Usurper, because every Nilfgaard deck is hyper thin now. Like, what happened? Like, every Nilfgaard deck is literally the same. It's just, you know, you switch out the leader, and if you're playing Usurper, then you have to maybe put in some more trash. But like, the thing about Usurper, like, even if it weren't hyper thin, like, Usurper has to play so many bad cards at the bottom to fit in good cards at the top. So if we can mill a few of those good cards, we don't mind him drawing some of those worse ones. Admittedly, we're in a similar position, because this deck actually runs a lot more 4 provision cards than I normally am comfortable with. But I mean, they're fairly decent though. Like, a Magna Division, it's a pretty good engine. A couple of Nausicaa Sergeants, really good engines. I put in some Samums. You know, can still remove a few bronze engines, but the movement can also really help you out. First, Tourney Joust is like one of the best removal cards in the game, and we have a couple of those in my graveyard. And yeah, it's just it's, and like, even the one what's it called, Arbalest, like the guy that banishes a card from either graveyard. Like, you know, he'll get you a Roach, he'll get you a Flying Redanian, a Bersodi Brother. Otherwise, he's mulligan fodder. So like, it's not like, this deck really represents, you know, a big part of what has been Nilfgaard's identity, which is just they can do a lot with 4 provision bronzes. So yeah, we're gonna steal his Tibor, because they all play Tibor now, because hyper thin, la la la. So we're just gonna discard his Tibor, because we don't want him to have that. And he's just playing low tempo. I mean, he's pretty far ahead, so like it's not bad of him to do this. And now we play our Tibor to deny him his Roderick. We got 11 points. We got milling. We denied him a very good consistency card. Like, Roderick is so good. I wish he could fit in this deck, because we could use some more consistency. So yeah, he's just too far ahead. Like, I'm not going to be able to do this. Like, usually, like, if they push you this hard in round 1, like, that's one of the deck's weaknesses, because, like, this deck thrives on winning round 1, and it has, like, the power to go down, like, 3 cards to do so. But of course, in a case like this, like, we can't go down 3 cards to win this round, so we just have to forfeit it. But we did do a lot of thinning, and of course milling, and of course he milled himself quite a bit, which is always very welcome. But, you know, like, depending on his hand, which theoretically should be very trashy, he's probably gonna pass, right? That's the idea. But this guy actually does the correct thing, which is to go for the 2-0. Like, he's a card down, but against Mill, like I said, they can't put out that many points and often rely on the ability to go down 3 cards to win a round. And honestly, if I had been more proficient with this deck at the time of playing this match, I probably would have tried to mulligan for a better hand, expecting the bleed, because that's definitely the right way to go if you're playing against Mill. And, he had a Sire Roach, which is a big tempo play. He didn't get too much out of his Experimental Remedy, which I honestly don't know. Oh no, he created it, right? With Imperial Diplomacy. I don't really get why you'd play that. Outside of Ardal, there has to be better things to play than Imperial Diplomacy. But yeah, he thought he had us, and you know what, to be honest, he was very close. We take it by 2 points, and we have to spend our cards. But of course, we get card advantage. We draw shitty cards, but against Usurper with 1 card, who cares? Who cares? Yeah, he just has a dead Sarthisius. Like, mill is really good now because so many people are playing Hyper Thin. Like, they're easy to mill, and like the whole point of that deck is to have, Tibor in the deck, and then use all these cards that rely on, revealing Tibor, using Tibor as points in many different ways. But if you just mill them, I mean, what you gonna do? But yes, this is DJ. I was nervous, really nervous going into this match, because yesterday I got so wrecked when I tried to mill a DJ or Dijkstra. But I mean, I knew if I could do this, get my revenge, feel great, and get a clip of me milling DJ to a victory for you guys, that would be amazing. And I forgot about that. We just go straight into banishing his Igor the Hook, which is spectacular. I apologize, I will have to drink. This video is a little bit long, and I need to hydrate a little bit. There we go, sorry about that. So this guy spends his Mariels in a very terrible way. And I wanted to emote thanks because he enabled my Necromancy in exactly the way I want to. And there goes the town, folks. I mean, he still got a second one. there's a Bersodi. There is a Bersodi. So yeah, another thing I like about this deck, about this mill deck, is just how many of your cards you are free to play. Like, I've been playing a few decks in the past, fairly recently, where you've been very tied down on which cards you can afford to play in round one. And this deck, like, you want to play everything as soon as you can, and nothing really is too high of a commitment. Like, as long as you can, like, get like Tibor, Vilgefortz, or Renew into one of those for round 3, like, you got a big power play, and you probably have card advantage, and you'll do just fine. So yeah, I mean, I let him have that Redanian, because of course if I had discarded that for him, he would have just gotten it back. And, you know, now he thins his own deck for me. Yeah, the really great thing about being, you know, gladly going down 3 cards is that you can play cards like Damien and Isbell completely safe. And you don't give a shit. And bye-bye, Philippa. Philippa's OP. Needs to be nerfed. And of course, I'll take the Kingslayer. And yeah, we just keep going. Yeah. We just keep going. Like, I don't care. Like, I'm 3 cards down now. Then I have to play this, and I'm 4 cards down. And I take the pass. That might have been unnecessary. Like, I could have done this probably going just 3 cards down.